given that, what I normally like to do is still name my things fact X, dim X, so that you think of them as dimension tables and as fact tables rather than as just tables. Now you don't have to, but I find it helps in the design process. Okay, so what we're going to do first, we're going to bring in some data from the cube. So Carl, if you have a look at the ribbon, you'll notice we've got a From Database button over there. Right, a couple of defaults. Let's start with analysis services. Cool, so server or file name will be localhost /SQL 2K8 R2. Okay, and let's choose AdventureWorks. Cool. And go next. Right, so first thing we want to do is give this query a name. Now, I know that we're going to pull in some sales stuff, so let's call it fact sales. Okay, and then let's hit design. Okay, so very familiar design window, exactly the same as reporting services. Let's open up measures. And let's open up sales summary. In keeping with theme, let's bring in the sales amount, the gross profit. Let's do tax amount this time. So bring it onto the design surface at the bottom. Yep. Let's do tax amount. Okay, and let's do gross margin as well. Cool. So, you might want to just widen that up a bit. That's a little bit cramped. Okay, and there we go. Cool, so now we want to do a couple more things. Let's slice this by product category. So we'll go to the left and we'll browse down to the product category. Okay, open up product, and under product, we actually want to scroll down. That's a single level one. Let's bring in the multi-level hierarchy. Let's bring in product categories. And let's actually bring it onto the design surface. Let's bring those things into our query. Then let's finish off. Let's do two more things. Let's put a date dimension in the filter at the top. Let's filter for 2008. Let's bring date.calendar. Yep, and expand the calendar folder. And drag the date.calendar to the parameters. Drag it up to the top. Okay, and then let's filter for 2008. So just hit the drop down arrow. Yep. Expand out all periods.
Mark, I have a question.
Okay, and let's do one final thing. Let's drag in date.date. And drag it into the, not into the filter. So let's actually drop it onto our design surface so it's in the query. Yeah, you'll have to right click on it at the top and delete it, and just add it again. Cool, so pretty basic stuff. We've got a basic query. Let's just hit OK. Now there's the MDX query, so you can copy and paste your own MDX if you really wanted to, and let's hit finish. Cool. Now, a couple things that's happening over here. So we've got a question coming in from Ambika saying, can we make it as a prompt filter for the hierarchy? So a little bit of background here. So Power Pivot in its current form doesn't have this multi-level hierarchy idea that we had in AS. It's a little bit more limited. That's in the new version, which comes out next year, no longer the case. That prompt button over there, the filter parameter that we used in reporting services, the actual box is still there because they've reused the same control, but it doesn't actually do anything. You don't get to use it in that way. So you can't parameterize it and then from your query you only do something. And the reason is, everything that's in this query, Power Pivot has just gone off to the cube and it's sucked all that data in, and all this data is actually sitting inside this Power Pivot model inside your on your machine at this point. So if you want to get more data, you would then do a data refresh and it would reload the whole thing. So there's no such thing as a delta load like you'd have in SQL, where you can use SSIS to only load some data, or in analysis services to do partitioning. Next version, it is there. Okay, so a couple things we need to note. Now, if you have a look at all these columns, because it's pulled it from analysis services, every one of these columns is actually a text column. And to see what I mean, click on the date column. Right, and you'll notice that the data type up top is text. Of course, we can't do anything with a text date, so what you want to do is go up to that top data type and change it to date. It's actually in the ribbon, and it's third from the right. Yeah, that's the one, and let's change it to date. Right, now it's actually changed it to a proper date, and it is of course using my regional settings to choose the date. So the next thing I want you to do is go to Measures Sales Amount, and let's change that to currency. Cool. Now, of course, it's using rands because I'm in South Africa and that's my regional setting. So you can change that to dollar. So if you hit currency on the one you're on, yeah. So either way around, change it to currency under the data type, and then there's a little dollar format, and that'll change it to dollars.